Welcome to the Force Dyad Podcast, a Star Wars-centric podcast which aims to connect us fans to our fandom. Each episode, we discuss recent shows, movies, and what's new in books, comics, and gaming. We share our favorite theories and touch on our collectible hobbies, all in an effort to connect the galaxy far, far away to our own.
And welcome to episode 11 of the Force Dyad Podcast. I am your host, Obi Sean, joined as always by...
Jedi John.
How you doing?
Oh, doing great.
Yes.
It's a different day for us.
It is. It's a weekend. It's a weekend recording. So,
we were just so excited about the last episode, we had to get it. I mean, we had to talk about it.
Yeah, we haven't had a day after recording for a Bad Batch episode all season. So this will be kind of fun. We'll actually be cutting edge slightly.
Oh, yeah. I might even release this like on Monday or Tuesday. How crazy would that be?
That'll be exciting. So tonight we're going to talk briefly, since we're a little behind, on Mantle, cover Gregor in Our Oldest Friend, and then spend most of the time talking about Finale Part 1, a.k.a. Return to Kamino. Talk a little bit about the Disney StarCruiser announcement that came out a few days ago, and talk a little bit about some recent other Star Wars news, and then wrap it up briefly with some comic discussion, some of the new comics that dropped in the War of the Bounty Hunters story arcs.
I'm telling you guys right now, cannot wait till although I love the Bad Batch, I can't wait for the finale, but we really can't wait to get past it so we can focus on some comics for a little while. It'll be a really nice change of pace for us.
And the books.
So looking forward to that discussion after the Bad Batch is over.
For sure.
But for now,
yes,
it's all about the Bad Batch.
It is. And before we get into that, we're going to do the social plug really quick. For those of you who don't know and aren't following already, you can find us on Twitter at Force Dyad Pod, and then on Facebook and Instagram at Force Dyad Podcast. And then, if you're looking for a bit more than your usual Star Wars fix and you're into some other fun fandoms.
Yeah, Marvel, DC,
video
games,
movies, etc.
All that.
Hop on over and listen to our sister podcast, at Galactic Dads. Excuse me. They can be found at Galactic Dads everywhere: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and even on the Untapped app, where they share their beers of the week.
Listen, they are doing some good work over there. On the Untapped app.
They're putting in the time on the Untapped app. But yeah,
I mean, let's face it, it's a bunch of dads without their kids. What do we do?
Unwinding.
Exactly. So they have a good time over there. I'm really excited to be a part of that also. So good stuff. Go listen to them, listen to us, and
get all of your fixes.
Get all of it.
In a handful of places. So we got a lot to talk about especially with Finale Part 1. So we're going to jump right into Mantle, which was episode 14 from a couple weeks back. We get to see Gregor again. I mean, that's the big sort of initial reveal from the episode.
Because Rex wants him to go help out a friend with a distress signal, because we didn't know who he was originally when we saw the clone just running through the woods.
That is true, being hunted down. And it's, the classic, someone needs help. Hunter, not really a fan. Although in this episode I loved it because everyone had a specific point, because they're in the middle of a job for Sid, and Wrecker's like, "Oh, Tech's got a point," and then Hunter makes a point, and Wrecker's like, "Yeah, Hunter's got a point," and then Omega's like, "But we have to help him." And he's like, "Oh, kid's got a point."
Wrecker is very indecisive. He doesn't really have a huge opinion, but he knows when somebody makes a good point.
That's right. So on limited intel,
I will say that's my one disappointment in the whole Omega thing right now. It's turning into, I just want to help everyone. I don't even need to know the person. I just want to help. Just help.
Right.
And,
maybe there's a reason behind that, like a long-term reason behind that, perhaps. But
honestly, I think we're going to get into that discussion when we get to the Finale Part 1.
Oh, okay.
I think I have
I am interested in that now. Okay.
Talk there.
But yeah, so they go and they learn that it's a friend of Rex's. They're tracking him down. they come across this massive Imperial base, which isn't on any of the scanners, which it's amazing the Empire was able to build up as quickly.
An uninhabited planet.
Yeah, as they did.
Tell me they didn't already have it.
Right. Yeah, this again, this was not an overnight thing. This was a long game play.
It's almost like Palpatine had other things in the works behind closed doors.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean they infiltrate the base, they plug in, they figure out where he is, they break him out. Pretty standard smash and grab until Tech sets off the security alarms.
Yeah, using clone protocols.
Mm-hmm. And a chase ensues. Clone Commando, Republic Commando, who may or may not be Scorch, chases them down. Cough.
There was only a mini argument prior to the podcast about if that was Scorch or not.
Yes, and I think it was. But anyways.
Yeah, one of us thinks it was. The other one just says it was uncredited.
He wasn't credited, so you can't...
It's hard to say. Wikipedia seems to think it was Scorch.
Right.
And I've heard that it was Scorch also, but uncredited, so...
It would be fun if it was Scorch.
I think it would be fun. It'd be cool. Mm-hmm. But yeah, unconfirmed.
Yeah.
I'll stick with that.
That's
unconfirmed. Fair. I do like it, though. Mm-hmm. If it was Scorch, awesome. And I'm sure Filoni will come out later and confirm it or deny it.
Probably 15 years from now, just like they did Rex and Nick on Endor.
Well, hey, they got to make it fit. Mm-hmm. They got to make it fit. But no, I do think it probably was Scorch, but we'll never know.
I mean, it's not critical to the story. It would just be a fun...
hey, another
look,
Easter egg. Yeah.
There's another one.
Hey, I know him.
Right. And so so they managed to escape through the air ducts, or so they think. They're tracked, and all but Hunter managed to escape back onto the Marauder.
Yeah, we do get to see Omega taking the controls.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
Yep. So she's a quick learner as far as piloting is concerned. Probably learning a bit here and there in between, episodes.
I mean, I can't believe they haven't shown us that. Mm-hmm. Seriously? You just going to give her a new skill? Come on. Oh, no. I don't get to see her learn it?
I know where this is going.
No,
and I don't want to go down that route.
It's fine. It's all fine. No, I think it's great. I think that's to be expected on a TV show like this. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not going to show us every single detail. But being on a ship all the time with family, basically, at this point,
yeah,
they're going to teach you some stuff. Mm-hmm. So
it's like those parents back in the 80s and 90s who let their 8-year-olds sit on their laps in their cars and kind of let them drive down a not so populated road,
or a populated road, whatever works for you.
So they all but Hunter managed to escape, and Hunter is captured and thrown in a cell and is confronted at the very end by our best friend, Crosshair.
Yeah. Who
John still thinks they're going to save.
Yeah. I mean, still as of that episode, yeah. I still had it. Well, I'll be honest right now, guys. I still have it.
You still kind of have it.
He's going to flip. He's going to flip. He's going to realize his ways.
I still think he's going to sacrifice himself.
We'll see.
Anyways, so that wraps up the War Mantle episode as a whole. I mean, there's maybe some details in there, but the bulk of it is they go help Rex by rescuing Gregor, and Hunter gets captured.
Which is how Gregor gets out for Rebels.
Mm-hmm. Yep. You had to make that continuity. Well, you didn't have to make it, but
it's Filoniverse coming through.
It was funny when Gregor gets shot in the chest, and then a couple minutes later, he's like, "It's okay. I've been blown up before and survived. I'll be okay."
Like in Clone Wars, when he was blown up while he was shooting down tanks.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Yeah, to let Rex and them escape after he gets after his amnesia magically goes away and he realizes who he is in the Clone Wars arc. But yeah, so as far as the episode is concerned, it was a fun episode. I was really late to the game in watching it personally, so I kind of had the major plot points spoiled for me. But it was still fun. I would probably give it a solid 8.
Yeah, I'm in that ballpark too. Like right at an 8. I mean, it's good action, mm-hmm. almost predictable how it was going because it was going too easy, and then they got into trouble when they used the wrong protocols, but I'm like, well, they're gonna escape, mm-hmm. and so And I'm like, oh, well, this is going too easy. If this episode ends with everyone on the ship again, people are going to go be furious. And so the loss of Hunter and that command saying just go, it meant a lot. And Omega was like, we can't just leave him.
Yeah,
and
the emotion.
Like, we have to.
The emotion at the end of that, where Echo and Tech look at each other right before they blast away, with Omega pleading for them to go back, and it's just like, nope.
Yeah,
not happening.
Yeah, they will all die if they go back at that point. So
what's IMDb give it?
8.7.
Wow.
I think this is the first time that we've been really low compared to IMDb. Usually we're on the high side. And I mean, I'll even say this: like, one of our best friends texted us this week and was like, "That's my favorite episode of the whole series so far." Before the finale came out. And I'm like, or the finale part 1 came out. And I'm just that's an interesting take, because I didn't feel that the whole episode. I never once was I like, this is the best one. But immediately he was like, this is one of my favorite episodes. And it might have been the Gregor connection. It also might have been the fact that we get to see the Imperials again. And the other thing at the end of War Mantle, we got to see Lama Su.
Oh, yeah.
We got to see Rampart just say, you know what? I need a scientist. I don't need a politician. So...
No, that was in the finale.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
No. No.
Because it's when they're escaping. It's when... Yes. It was in the most... That's why you remember it.
No, I'm telling you right now. We can argue about this if you want.
No.
But it was towards the end of the last episode of War Mantle that he was talking to Lama Nalase about how they canceled all of their contracts. And he accused her of trying to get off planet and getting people off planet secretly.
Right.
And he's like, I
know what you're saying.
I'll punish her.
And Lama Su gets totally offed.
I think you watched them too close together.
I did watch them
now.
too close together.
Yeah, so I think
I watched them back to back.
You know what'll solve this?
Looking it up on Disney Plus.
Well, no, it'll solve it by seeing. I'll tell you that Lama Su and Nala Se are in that episode in War Mantle, and I will tell you that they're not credited in.
All right, I was wrong.
Yeah, I know you're wrong.
That's fair.
Yes, you heard it, everybody. You heard it here first.
I was wrong.
Oh man.
Fair enough.
Anyway. So, but we actually don't hear blaster fire, but it is very much assumed that they offed him.
Yeah.
Behind the closed doors.
For sure.
And you get to see Rampart really just be Rampart and do exactly what the Empire does. Yeah, we're done with you. So you're dead. So, good stuff.
Well, I wish, it would have been nice to get more insight into the War Mantle program itself.
Yeah.
I mean, other than just seeing it through Gregor as... yeah, I don't want to be part of this anymore. So I think that's why I kind of dinged it a little bit, but it was a fun episode. It was a good episode. So I can't fault a high 8 for it.
Yeah. Big 8s. A lot of 10s just because a lot of people online said it was their favorite one so far also, or the favorite one since 1.
Really?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Huh. Yeah. Finally an interesting episode since the first episode. But that was an 8 rating. Yeah.
Man, that person must be really hard to please if they didn't enjoy, like even the Ryloth stuff,
Yeah, a lot of 10s, a lot of... It was either a 10 or an 8, really. So pretty crazy. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah, there it is, right there, and of course it just pops up on my screen. And then there's Lama Su.
Oh, hey, look, that's in War Mantle. Yeah, love you.
All right.
All right, so yeah, we give it an 8 out of 10. IMDb is a little higher than us, 8.7. Yeah, solid episode though. Leads right into Return to Kamino because it was really obvious where they were going to take Hunter. I thought.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
eventually, yeah, they were gonna
take him back to where the Imperials are based at this current moment, which is Kamino.
Right.
So,
do we want to do oldest friend now?
Yeah,
we can talk Gregor real quick.
Mr. Gregor.
Babu Frick. Oh, he's one of my oldest friends.
we kind of talked about it during the War Mantle breakdown, but we first see Gregor actually not as a clone trooper, but as kind of a nobody citizen on some random backworld in Clone Wars. He's a clone trooper who has amnesia and then is basically forced into servitude as a dishwasher by some guy. and he gets found and more or less rescued by Rex in an arc in the Clone Wars. But you get more of him, a lot more of him, and I'll let John kind of speak to it a bit more. But you get a lot more of him in Rebels, again with Rex and Wolf, and Gregor's participation, I guess, in.
Yeah, I mean, he really became like the comedic relief for that group of clones in Rebels. They were living on a. Oh boy, I'm gonna mess this up. I think it was an ATTE. It was one of the tanks.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That they had modified to be basically a living space as well as, I mean, it was mobile, so that's nice. And they still had their weapons ready to go when they needed them. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it was Gregor, Rex, and Wolf in Rebels that were all together. I mean, it was cool because you got to see in Rebels specifically Kanan, who we got to see his first bad experience with clones during Bad Batch, and so we catch up to Gregor, who re-met Kanan later, and Kanan was very apprehensive about working with any clones because he saw what happened.
Right.
And he was the only one on that ship that had really seen what had happened. Mm-hmm. So,
and you get kind of that comedic, the comedic personality in his portrayal in the Bad Batch episode, because he's constantly giggling and has kind of that like high-pitched nervous laugh in talking, and so it kind of alludes to his kind of comedic nature in Rebels.
Yeah, and he they all participated in the liberation of Lothal, which was Ezra's home planet. So they got the clones help there. And it was a pure resistance fight against the Empire on Lothal. So really good stuff.
Which is where he ultimately meets his demise.
Yep.
Poor Gregor. We hardly knew you.
I'll pour a little bit out for Gregor real quick. But yeah, so that pretty much wraps it. I mean, he was, of course, again, D. Bradley Baker. Mm-hmm. He can just, he's got every voice in the book for the clones, and he can change himself to be that character, which I think is just amazing. You're on the same TV show talking to yourself half the time and getting in that mind space. And if you have a chance, go look him up on Instagram or Twitter, where he's posting some videos of him doing individual clone voices and how he kind of like, you can see his reactions and his just expressions change on his face when he's talking for these a lot of the clones. And it's just crazy, like the kind of faces he makes when he's doing certain clones. Mm-hmm. So really cool stuff from him. And obviously without him, we don't have any clones, Bad Batch, or anything else. So all hail D. Bradley Baker, right? Good stuff.
Our clone and savior.
Yeah, our clone and savior. Oh my gosh. All right. So yeah, let's move right on to Return to Kamino. Mm-hmm. We got our first half of the finale, which until it was shown, we didn't know was a 2-part finale. Mm-hmm. Really, right. We didn't have anything to go off of as far as titles or anything, and we still don't have a title for 16. So, Return to Kamino came out just yesterday, and boy,
wow,
like oh my gosh,
wow, what an episode!
Yeah, they tracked him. Everything played out exactly how they basically narrated it to. They're like Hunter talking to Crosshair was. It was crazy because he's just like, yeah, if you turn on my communication, like my comm, they're going to know it's a trap. And he's just like, yeah, but they're still going to come.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you know?
They got to rescue Hunter. They don't leave anyone behind.
Except for that one time.
Except for the one time.
Which evidently is a grudge now. So,
well, I mean, that's a hard one to forget. But yeah, I mean, the whole episode is...
It's about that interpersonal relationship between Crosshair and his comrades, like his brothers.
Well, it just seems to be that relationship between Crosshair and Hunter. It's like
that was strange because
I mean,
Crosshair
it was the
thinks
brother.
that Hunter went against orders to do what he thought was right, but it was against orders. And Crosshair was like, all you had to do was follow orders, idiot.
And he even says that, like, see, even you can follow orders when everybody else shows up and ends up in the training ground. He's like, see, that wasn't so hard.
Yeah, well, he's really offended by the fact that Hunter was like, you know what? We should do this instead.
And he doesn't seem to hold a grudge against anyone else except him.
Nope.
And I guess it's because he's seen as the leader, and so he led them into the trap that ended up getting Crosshair stuck and amplified and turned into what he is or has become.
Yeah, we got a cool reveal about the inhibitor chip in Crosshair this episode.
Which is not there. And it hasn't been there for some time.
Basically just said, yeah, I removed it.
Yeah. And Hunter's like, when? He's like, it don't matter. So, I mean, do we want to recap the episode real quick? Or do we just want to...
Yeah, I mean...
So
yeah, real
the
quick.
scene...
Yeah,
so, I mean,
ahead.
yeah, so they end up on the landing pad, going back to Kamino, Bad Batch.
Secret landing pad.
Which leads to Nalise's secret
lab.
research lab. And when they get there, that whole scene is just...
Wow.
That whole scene is so deep and poignant, and you just kind of have this... It's full of emotion.
Omega's just sitting in this room staring at all these, tubes. And talking to her brothers. I mean, they're not now brothers, they're brothers. I mean, they're all clones. And saying, this is where you all were created. I watched you all grow.
I watched you all be born.
That's how I knew who you were. And you're just sitting there like, wait a second. Because she's unaltered.
You forget how much older she is, even though she's younger.
Stature-wise.
In technical age,
yeah,
she was actually born far before them.
So it's just amazing to hear her speak about her brothers. And I watched you all grow right here. And I know the experiments they ran on you because I was here. And it's just so emotional and so powerful. And you want to just like, it's a big hug situation, but nobody hugs because I think they were all just processing. Like even Tech didn't give one of his quips.
Right.
Like he was silent too. So it was just so powerful that she watched them all grow. And I think that's the first time that they were like, oh geez.
Yep. Yeah. And you have the power of the emotion in that scene broken, like with the comedic timing of AZ3.
Hey, what up, AZ?
AZ3 being reintroduced to the show or
Yeah. And
brought back.
yeah, it's pure hiding because the Imperials were
decommissioning all the droids.
And it was so sad watching them walk the halls of Kamino.
They were just virtually deserted.
It was deserted. We didn't see anybody. We didn't
Yeah.
see anything.
Yeah, well, the only time you see it is when Crosshair is walking Hunter to the central cloning area, and you see like what's left of the clones walking out.
I don't even know if that was the clones as much as it was the Imperials
Or the TKs. Sorry, they were the TKs.
They could have been TKs. Yeah. And I did love. I don't know if you caught this, but those were like the Macquarie.
Yeah, I'd seen that.
It was freaking awesome. As soon as I saw them, I'm like, I've seen those sketches. I've seen them a lot. And it was just super exciting to see the McQuarrie original Stormtroopers, clone trooper, Stormtrooper sketches come to life on the screen. And we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Like, there's so much on the cutting room floor for McQuarrie still, and it's great I love when Filoni just pulls something. He's like, you know what? We can fit this in right here. Just slide it in there. Just slide it in.
It would have been really funny because in the McQuarrie sketches, there's one that he has of a stormtrooper with a lightsaber. There's a stormtrooper with a lightsaber sketch, which I guess you kind of technically see that in The Force Awakens with Finn.
Finn is without the
the First Order trooper with his light stick. But anyways, I digress. Yeah, the McQuarrie sketches are something else, man.
Yeah, really cool stuff from him. Even 40 years later, that's just really cool stuff. 45 years later now. Jeez.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Next year's going to be 45 years.
Yeah.
Well, of the movie coming out. So the sketches are even older than that.
Right. So we see them transferring him. And then, we get to the meetup because the Bad Batch think that they're going to be a surprise. And guess what?
Yeah, it was all Crosshair knew exactly what they were going to do the entire time, which isn't a surprise. And so they end up on the training grounds where we started the whole season.
Yep.
And
it's just a big circle.
Circle. Except this time, and I think I had some conversations on Twitter with people about how it's almost like it came full circle, but it wasn't.
At least they had live rounds this time.
That's true. They were ready for the intense training droids. Yeah. But to see them fighting, I guess I kind of skipped ahead. But there's this whole monologue, I guess it's more of a dialogue between Crosshair and Hunter, and how Crosshair is going to give Hunter the choice that Crosshair was never given. And again, the writing in this episode, and I would anticipate that part 2 will be equally good, but the writing in this episode was so good, and it played on so many different instinctual emotions that we as humans have, from a relationship standpoint with our friends, our family, our brother, and you see that play out between Crosshair and Hunter.
Yeah, it goes from, I'm happy you brought that up, because it just goes to the fact, like, when you imagine you're a kid, right? If you get told to do something you don't want to do you do it? No. Like, you just say, okay, and then you go do whatever you want to do. Versus when the choice is up to you and you choose the right path for yourself because you know it needs to get done or whatever. Maybe it's a chore or something like that. Like, but if you're told to do something or forced to do it, you resent the choice. Whether or not you actually agree with the choice or not, you resent it. And I think that's where Crosshair was. And like you said, he's giving Hunter the chance to just say, yeah, I can join you and help your fight. But Crosshair was never given the choice. He was forced immediately.
And it's something we've actually talked to on a number of past episodes about freedom of choice and free thinking and what eventually gets maybe the clones decommissioned altogether and stuff like that. So, but in this instance, it's, hey, join the Empire, not, hey, I'm going to join you. And Hunter's like, well, how do we trust you? And prior to this, Tech kind of looks over and he sees the mirrors. The
mirrors. Oh, yeah. I knew exactly what was going to happen.
And when he looked at him, like, I don't get it. And then when they panned out and you see them, I was like, that is what's happening.
This is going to get ugly for somebody, and it's not our friends.
Right, and so Crosshair betrays
the Empire, his new squad,
his elite squad troopers,
except for one. He missed the one, or
the one was inside.
He backed out, right?
Yeah, they were in it was I think it was the one that kind of hung behind on the landing platform and told Rampart, that she didn't trust him with his own gang, and he's like, make sure to watch.
Keep an eye out. Yeah.
Right, and so, so then the training droids pop up, and
with Omega's help, he's like, I know how to get them out of this. Let's just start sending fighters up.
Yeah, and he's like, I think you sent more than was necessary. And she's like, yeah, I see that. But it was so cool again because that scene, or that moment in that scene where they're together again, like they were before.
And they're still fighting to protect each other. Again.
Yep.
Crosshair's still shooting for them, not against them.
Right. So there's some level of, he doesn't hate them. Like,
I'm just gonna take my check mark on my theory.
No, it's not done yet.
Yeah, but it's not done yet. But he saved them now twice technically. So boom.
Well, he also saved himself.
Well, you know what? The first time he didn't. The first time he just saved them.
The first time
he killed his. He killed his squad.
Right.
So he saved them.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was like the choice I said where he has to make a choice to protect.
So if he gets his choice, he's gonna protect the Bad Batch. So I think
he sacrifices himself.
Oh my goodness! I think he's gonna get turned.
Because anyways, so they get.
Anyways,
so they take down all the training droids, and
pretty easily, as it should have been.
Mm-hmm. And it ends up again with a standoff between Hunter and Crosshair. Only Hunter's got the drop on Crosshair, ends up stunning him.
Yep.
And all the while, the Empire has completed their evacuation. They brought 3, looks like Venator style.
Yeah, they're 3 Venators are approaching.
Yeah.
I think Tech actually called it out.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because he's like 3 Venator class. Yeah. Starships approaching, and they're moving into position to destroy
the whole facility.
Tapoka City.
Tapoka City, yeah.
And so they have to get out of there. And Hunter's stunned, Crosshair's stunned. Hunter takes his gun, takes his pack.
He's like, he's coming with us.
And tells Wrecker to pick him up. And they start to run. And, well.
I'm sorry. Goosebumps every time I hear the words. Tarkin comes on screen as Rampart's doing the report saying, hey, all the cloning technology is in the Empire's, is in Imperial possession now. Go figure. Thanks, Mandalorian.
Right.
Couldn't have guessed this was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then you just hear Tarkin just look at him. He's like, excellent work, or whatever he said. And he said, you may fire when ready. And just goosebumps.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly was just, because it was before the Venator classes appeared on the screen, like we saw them in space around the planet, but it was almost like, do we get to see the first firing of the Death Star? Because that would be cool too. But yeah, we just got the Venator class roll in and start firing. And it was just, heart sank a little bit.
Well, because right before they fire, they cut to the empty mess hall. They cut to the empty Bad Batch barracks. They cut to the empty hallways. Like
they cut to the whole cloning thing that Obi-Wan's walking through, seeing all the 2 babies.
Yeah, it's all empty, and it's the end of an era, right? So for anyone who grew up with the prequels, which is likely most of us, then that's when you're first introduced to them. You go through the Clone Wars, and now that period is over. It's completely gone.
Yeah.
Wiped off the face of the
Star Wars,
the planet, the Star Wars universe,
yeah.
And so it's like a little part of you is gone on the inside, right? It's the end of part of your childhood. So in that sense, it's very, emotional as well. And you're kind of living through the characters in the show as they're trying to run for their lives. And I mean, they just cut to black as they run back in the building that's, I think, falling over into the water.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen in part 2. I mean, they have to theoretically escape somehow.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting. And now we have, we've got it's good. I just don't even know what to say right now because I mean, well, let's just cut it there. Let's end of episode. What are you rating it?
Oh, I'm giving it like
I'm
probably giving it a 9.5.
9.5. Yep, I'm going 9.5. That's what I'm going. I mean, it was.
I don't believe in a perfect episode, so 9.5 is probably as high as I'd ever give an episode.
So with 1,000 ratings on IMDb, it's 9.2.
Yeah.
Which I believe makes it. Is it the highest or the second highest of?
It's probably higher than Aftermath.
I think it's the highest. It is the highest rated episode on IMDb now.
Yeah.
Aftermath was, which is episode 1 for everybody counting at home, was a 9.0. And then Reunion was also a 9.0. Which, fantastic episode also. So, Return to Kamino 9.2. I can't wait for the finale. It's just great.
I mean, the whole. It was just. I mean, it's just good. It was just a good episode.
The last 2 episodes have been really top notch. Yeah. I mean, we gave it a solid 8 on War Mantle, and then you followed up with that, and it fills in so many holes in the Star Wars universe, and I feel like that's what the fans that are watching this show want. Like, we want the holes filled in. We don't want any more questions. And some people will say, "Oh, filler episode, blah blah blah," but then they get the plot points like these, and it makes it all worth it. So, really well done episode again, and looking really forward to next Friday.
Yeah,
can't wait.
I mean, I go back to it. The writers on this show have done a phenomenal job, and it was something that we talked about again very early on. And people talking about, oh, these are filler episodes. Or no, you have 16 episodes to develop characters, to build out personalities. And yeah, we wish we would have seen certain ones more, like Crosshair, for example, kind of getting more into his headspace, right? But you get an episode like this where you have the dialogues between, just a handful of characters and the enormity of what they're saying and what they're feeling, and how, in the dialogue between Hunter and Crosshair, that Hunter feels so betrayed in how they left him behind.
Crosshair does.
Sorry. Crosshair does.
Yeah, you're good.
And you see Hunter try and rationalize it or try and explain it, and it doesn't matter what Hunter's explanation for Crosshair is. Like, his mind is made up. He was left behind, and that's that, but he sees what he's offering to Hunter as an olive branch, I guess, of sorts, right? Like, I'm not going to kill you.
Yeah, I'm trying to make this more right.
Right.
But you still suck in my book, but because you left me.
But he's like, we fought together. We were brothers. We fought together once. We can do it again. And you just have that. I don't know. It was just for a 20 some odd minute episode, there was so much emotion packed into it.
You know what's amazing to me is we've seen this feeling of betrayal before, and it was in episode 3 of Revenge of the Sith. And you feel the hate from Anakin towards Obi-Wan, even though they were brothers. And at this point, they got to the point where he wanted to kill him. He couldn't. Anakin was so twisted at that point that he wanted to kill his own brother, because he thought that he was the enemy. He thought that he had turned his wife against him. But Anakin was at a point in episode 3 where he did get left behind. He wasn't trusted. And it completely launched his attitude into, this person cares about me. And we heard the same thing in the Bad Batch earlier in the season, where the troopers were just like, the Republic never did any of this for us. The Empire cares about us. The Empire values us. And Crosshair had to be feeling that at some point, because he was on the missions with the clone troopers, feeling the exact same way that all these Republic troopers felt.
Yeah, and he's, with him removing his chip, he is now making all of those choices. He's making the choices himself
Yeah,
now.
he was so hurt from feeling betrayed that he was staying the path that he was on. Mm-hmm. And that's exactly Anakin, which is another reason why my theory might still hold. Redemption's coming.
Yeah, and you know,
and redemption could be self-sacrifice.
See, and I think because they have to escape they have to get out of there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know where they're going to go. The only thing I can think of is that Crosshair has a ship still, and that because they had his squad, so there would have had to have been an escape plan for his team.
Well, didn't the one trooper take it after reporting that Crosshair had flipped?
I thought Rampart told, I think it was a female voice, but I thought Rampart told the trooper to find a transport and get off. So maybe they took the squad ship, or maybe they found a troop transport like a Republic, a Republic gunship or whatever it was, to escape. So my thought would be that there's probably still there's some sort of transport somewhere, because the tubes are being destroyed, because they show that like the building's falling through the tubes. So unless they find a way back to their landing pad, they're not getting the Marauder back.
Right.
So
yeah, it's in the middle of the ocean.
Right. And so my thought was that they would have a transport that Crosshair was meant to take, and which I guess there's nothing.
I mean, we'll
left.
see.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's a lot we could speculate on that, I feel like, but like
we'll I mean,
them getting off the planet will be quickly established, I feel like, in the next episode.
Yeah, within the first 5 minutes.
Yes.
But then where do they go from there?
You know, we can talk about that real fast.
Yes, please do, because I actually have no idea where this is going.
I'm not sure either, but I think because Omega will know that, well, I don't know, because Nala Se is still alive
on a Imperial
somewhere.
Transport somewhere.
So I'm wondering if maybe a signal gets out.
What if Fennec comes to rescue them?
Oh, very interesting. We see our bounty hunter that I thought was going to be after them.
Or Boba comes to rescue them.
Do we get Boba right now? I mean, if Boba showed up in the finale, that would be pretty sweet. But that's Boba's home, too.
It is.
So, I mean, Boba could have just been chilling out there anyway.
Maybe.
Or in a neighboring city, or somewhere else on the planet.
A neighboring city.
A neighboring,
island somewhere. Maybe.
Island of Boba.
I just don't know how. I don't know how they get off. They went back in a building that's falling into the ocean.
Well, I'm sure
into the water, because the whole planet's an ocean now. But
there'll be something, I'm sure. I mean, obviously, we just got season 2 confirmed, so
that's true.
They'll be around.
But the question is, but we don't know who.
Not yet.
Like, there's no guarantee in who's going to make it out.
Boy, what if we lost Omega? There's no way.
I don't think that's. I think that person's got plot armor. I think she has plot armor.
I honestly think we still lose Hunter. I think Crosshair is redeemed, and we lose Hunter.
So you think Crosshair or Hunter makes his choice to save Crosshair this time?
Yes, because Hunter didn't give him the choice, and it's going to turn into, I didn't give you the choice, so this is going to be my choice. And because Crosshair can be the leader.
Yeah, and Crosshair actually tried to send Omega off-world. That was what happened. He sent the other trooper to get Omega, and then Omega knocked her out.
Yep.
That's what happened, yeah. Or AZ. AZ knocked her out with one of the droids. But,
that's right.
So as far as part 2 is concerned, I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I'm thinking that we gotta lose somebody, and I think it's gonna be Hunter, because I think losing Hunter will be a very critical character builder for Omega. Because Omega is the main character of the story. I mean, really, she is. I mean,
so it's the Uncle Ben to her Peter Parker.
Yeah, so she will,
or the Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru to her Luke Skywalker.
Right. She'll start growing. Just a huge character growth moment, losing your role model, father figure, and just going through that. So she'll be a Disney princess by the end of the day.
Only if she has a singing pet.
Droids count, right? She's got the gonk.
She does have Gonki. But it's interesting you say the thing about the father figure, too, because Crosshair explicitly points that out in the discussion about how he will never be what he thinks, or what he's trying to be, right?
Yep.
And that is a father of sorts for Omega. And so it's interesting you say that because he explicitly points that out to Hunter during their discussion. But yeah, I mean, it was just an amazing episode. There's no two ways around it.
Yep. I can't wait for next week. I mean, the finale's going to be great.
Oh, yeah.
And then we've got months and months until we get another Disney Plus series for Star Wars. So
we get Visions. So,
but it's a short series.
Yeah, it'll be December before we get Book of Boba.
Yeah.
Which I'm very
I mean, next year's going to be packed with Obi and Cassian.
And Bad Batch Season 2.
Yeah, and Ahsoka.
Is Ahsoka next year, too?
I believe Ahsoka's 22. If not, she's 23. But
yeah, it's going to be a jam-packed...
I can't wait for Celebration because there's going to be so much stuff.
God, I hope we get to have one.
Well, in 22 we should.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers really crossed.
Yeah, because you'll also have all the High Republic stuff going on.
Yeah.
Because
not only that, too, for me personally, like in 22 we'll have May will be Celebration, and then in July I'll have SDCC. Mm-hmm. So I'll get more announcements or more trailers or more, because Disney's not going to not go to the SDCC also with Star Wars, obviously.
Of course.
So Star Wars and Marvel and everything else.
Well, and next year is the 20th anniversary of Attack of the Clones, and
the 40th anniversary of...
the 40th anniversary...
Oh, no.
That's 23.
Sorry.
23 is Return of the Jedi.
That's right. Oh, yeah, we talked about this. We discussed why they were moving the dates of Celebration, because they wanted to line it up, because now, for everyone counting at home, Memorial Day weekend 2023 is exactly the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi hitting theaters.
Mm-hmm. Or Revenge of the Jedi, if you want to do that too.
There's only one title that they credit for.
That's true. That is true.
Anyway, but yes, very exciting stuff. Speaking about Disney,
yes,
boy, we got some good announcements from them this week.
We did. Well, maybe it depends on your point of view, I suppose.
Well, I think it's great because I've been waiting for this hotel for 2 years now, since it was announced originally.
Right.
And I already missed my check-in deadline last June when it was 10 months out from opening originally.
Was it supposed to open this year?
Yeah, it was supposed to open in the spring. So the original date was sometime in, I believe, March or April.
Okay.
Because you're allowed to book Disney tickets. You know what? Maybe it was the fall. Because it was 16 months in advance, I think, or 18 months in advance you can book Disney tickets. And I had my alarm set for June 10th or something like that last year to book Disney Star Wars hotel rooms.
Really?
Yeah, but then the date got messed up.
Yeah,
obviously.
And now it's spring 2022.
Right.
Which in theory means that it's open now. Which makes sense because we've seen pricing, we've seen sample itineraries, we've seen a bunch of stuff, and we're gonna wrap this episode by discussing our thoughts on it. And
so I'm super excited to go. I just, if anyone wants to crowdfund for me for a couple months, I'll give my Venmo in the show notes, I think, or Cash App, whatever.
Do you want to add mine too?
Just $1 at a time would be fine. I think $1 a day you can sponsor me to go to Star Wars.
You're gonna need. Let's see. There's 365 days in a year.
Yeah.
You're gonna need. 12 years?
No, we got a few listeners, so just $1 a day per listener.
Oh, okay, right.
Will get me there pretty quickly.
All right, so it'll take 6 years to save.
Oh gosh.
Because the pricing is.
It is high.
It's high. It's the cost of going to Europe for 6.
It's the cost of going
days.
to Jamaica for 8 days all inclusive, with your flights paid for too. Mm-hmm. Like you can go to a very nice resort all inclusive in Jamaica. Sit on the beach every day, get waited on hand and foot. It probably pays for a private butler for the week. But instead, you're going to go to Disney World for
For 2 days.
2 nights.
And you, not even 2 days.
Well, it is 2 days technically, but it's 2 nights at the hotel.
Right. And I don't even know that it's actually on. I mean, it's on Disney property somewhere, but it's not.
Well, it's directly connected to Galaxy's Edge in Orlando.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll have a private transport to Galaxy's Edge. They enter Hollywood Studios from Galaxy's Edge versus the front of the park is what I've been told, and that's what the schematics showed.
Oh, okay.
Because that's one of the perks of being at that hotel is you have direct access to Galaxy's Edge.
Got it. Because I know that they had in the itinerary, it's like take your private transport to Batu, and so I just assumed
you're gonna get it.
It was just like
in a special bus. Hey, here's your bus to the front.
And they're just gonna drop you at the front, and you're gonna have like special early access to the park or something like that.
No, from my understanding and the schematics and the blueprints that I saw for the concept for it, it has a direct line to another entrance to Batu in Hollywood Studios.
So it's like the Hogwarts Express for Universal Studios, how it connects Diagon Alley and the and the Wizarding World of
Harry Potter from between the two parks. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's between the hotel, which is 100% immersive experience, and Batu.
Well, let's just talk price first, and then we'll talk about the cool stuff.
So for your family of 4,
it'll cost you $6,000 for a standard cabin. And for those of you who don't have kids yet, or just have a friend that you want to take, it'll still cost 2 people $4,800 for a day and a half and 2 nights.
Yeah, so you can check in as early as what is it? 1
to 4 is your check-in window.
Right, because stuff happens after that.
Yeah, you take off.
Yeah, and then I was talking to you earlier. They better have a club in that hotel because I'm not sleeping. I will go dressed in whatever I have to. I am not sleeping if I'm paying that for a hotel.
It is all inclusive.
Yeah,
except for alcohol.
Yeah,
which is
to me
really mean.
To me that just means it's not all inclusive.
That's just really mean.
They need some blue milk cocktails downstairs at all times of the hour.
For sure.
Right.
So the immersion now, it sounds
epic,
incredible, and you're allowed to participate as much or as little as you wish. It's up to every guest to.
I can just imagine you going there and saying no to everything. Obviously,
I would totally be. Hello, would you like to help us? No, thank you.
No,
I'm
you
playing
look
Sabak.
You look like you suck, so I can't help you. Sorry.
No, I don't get out of bed for less than 50,000 credits. So.
That's probably the best. That's probably the best response anyone's going to give them.
So it sounds like there's a couple different stories that they might probably rotate as far as smugglers, First Order, Resistance, that sort of stuff. Whether you want to help the Resistance or help the First Order or do some sort of smuggling run, kind of like Solo.
So you know what you're telling me right now? You're telling me that I'm going to spend $6,000 for 4 people to get there 3 different times so I can experience all versions of this. So this is going to cost me $18,000
plus flights.
Stop it.
It doesn't include airfare.
$18,000 to experience all of my Star Wars fantasies.
Well, all you have to do is sell about 25% of your toys down here, and I think you got most of it covered.
For the first trip,
right?
Wow, yeah, I'll be a lot. We'll see. I don't want to price my room.
No, right. But yeah, if they do, or if it is what they're pitching it to be,
it should be well worth it
for any Star Wars fan. And to be fair, the response immediately was pretty negative as far as the pricing is concerned, because
that's the most expensive hotel in Disney. For 2 nights.
Oh, without question. Without question. We actually just priced out a trip for 4 nights or 5 nights in December for Christmas at Wilderness Lodge. All the park passes, all of that stuff. And it's not even that much money.
With passes.
With park hopper passes.
Does the nights at the hotel include tickets to Disney?
Yes. So you get a ticket to Hollywood Studios. That's all you get. Okay. You don't get a park hopper
for 2 days though.
1.
Oh.
You get 1 day.
Oh, 1 day.
It's
So
your 1 day.
It's the one full day.
It's your
that
one
you
full
can-
day you go to Batu. Or you can go to Batu.
Well, I mean,
if
where
you
else
want.
would you go?
I don't know. Maybe somebody just likes to burn money.
If I just paid $2,000
Just-
to just do Star Wars stuff, I'm not leaving Batu.
well,
And I better
that-
get on Rise of the Resistance.
And that's the thing. So I think you get some.
They got to guarantee you rides, right? At least
They do. So you get to ride You get to ride.
I didn't read that,
You get to
yeah.
ride Rise of the Resistance. You get to
Smuggler's Run.
ride Smuggler's Run. You get lunch at the
Olga's.
cantina.
Yeah.
You get a drink. I think a boozy drink. At one place, you get like percentages off at like Doc Onders or other stuff.
Include
You should be given
build a lightsaber.
Yes,
They
you should
include
get
it.
a lightsaber from Savvy's included for that much money. I mean, it's a $300 lightsaber, I think, to build it, right? They could easily include that.
Which
in.
you know is really just $60 worth of materials, if that.
I've heard. Well, yeah, I have heard that they're pretty chunky.
Durable, they're
yeah,
nice.
like
I mean,
they're decent.
No
sabers.
one's complained coming out of there.
Right. I mean, when I go in December, I'm going to do it. I've already told my wife that I will be spending.
I'm in October, and
Yes.
yeah, I'm going. I'll be there. Yeah.
Right. So you do get some stuff, but for an all-inclusive thing, you should be getting. Again, I don't know. I mean, you're getting your meals on the ship.
I mean, on the ship,
On
on
the
the
ship.
StarCruiser. It is a StarCruiser.
I mean, yeah, it's a ship, but it's a hotel. But anyways, you're getting your meals on there. You're getting essentially all your activities, right? So it'd be no different than if you went on a very short cruise, like to the Bahamas or something, like a 3-day cruise out of Miami, right? And all of your drinks, all your food, all of your excursions were paid for. But even that, it doesn't even come close to that. You can go to the Bahamas 3 days, do all your excursions and stuff like that for probably 75% of that price, and go to the
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably looking at like maybe
I still
35.
think you're high. I still think you're high.
Yeah, maybe
75% is still high.
Yeah, maybe like $3,000. I don't know, and that probably includes flights too. So, I mean, the market will drive it. If it's too expensive, people won't go. Thing is, it's Star Wars, and
People are gonna go.
There's enough rabid people who are gonna sell their third kidneys. And
You have a third one also.
I have
That's
one
good
on
to-
supply just for stuff like this.
Good to hear.
If I have to ransom myself at one point, I got a third kidney to sell. It'll be, now everybody knows that, so I'm doomed. But I'm going to save for it. I'm going to go at some point.
Oh yeah, it'll be on the list.
I have to.
I mean, even if I have to wait till, and my wife is lovely. She gives excellent gifts. I would be the first one to tell her to save every gift for the next 7 years until it's my 40th birthday, if that means I can spend 2 nights or more at Star Wars. And I'm sure we'll go before that. But I'm just saying, like, if I had to wait till my 40th birthday to go, fine.
I wonder if so my thinking is that they're probably going to do this as like a pilot program for other immersive properties.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're going to do like an Avengers Tower somewhere. I'm just waiting for them to do it.
Right. And I also think that they're doing this initially to figure out where they can cut to provide either longer durations or cheaper or more affordable accommodations, while not like removing some of the added stuff, right? And so initially there's a lot of sticker shock, but
For what you're getting, and
it is really
I
expensive.
can only imagine once you're there, you're not going to care. I mean, I'm not going to care. I mean, even me going to Disney in October, like we paid off tickets a couple months ago, and yeah, Disney's expensive. Like, you're signing up to pay, like, to spend some money. If you're going for multiple days, you're that's what you're doing. You're
A
signing
lot
up
of
to
money.
spend money. And not only that, but I know what I'm going to spend once I'm in there.
But you're
which-
paying for the experience.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing.
And
is
I'm not going to be disappointed once I'm in Batu, in Ogla's, or in Savvy's,
or Doc Onders.
or Doc Hunter's, like, den. Like, I am going to love every minute of it. Like, for Christ's sake, I went 2 years ago and I got the biggest bear hug from Chewie, and it's upstairs in my living room right now because that was a freaking great moment. And I am a grown adult that knows that Chewie is not Chewie. but just seeing it and him and being like in the moment. Yeah, huge bear hug for Chewie. Absolutely, because that's where I can be a kid, and that's where I can live out my fantasy of being in Star Wars. And thank goodness that somebody did it.
Oh yeah.
So.
I know the moment I walk through and I'm standing in front of the Falcon the first time, I'm going to be a 5-year-old kid, and I'm just going to be so giddy. I'm going to have a smile. I'm going to have a smile on my face the entire day. Like I'm not going to be upset at anything the whole day that I'm there. You know, if I can't get on a particular ride, whatever, fine. I'm here. Like, I'm in Star Wars for the first time in my whole life. It's going to be insane, and I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
And I mean, it was a rival. I mean, the only rival feeling I've had about that is going to like Star Wars Celebration, because they have some life-size stuff there, and I know you missed out.
Yeah, I can't wait for that.
Thanks, Godson, for taking him for the week there.
That's fine.
It's good. It's a good reason.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, like I mean, in some of those instances, you can get immersive and just be in the moment and be looking at things, and you're like, this is Star Wars. But no, this is the entire
world.
Like the entire world's right there in your hands. And for those of you that have been to Universal that are remotely Harry Potter fans, you know what it feels like when you walk through the bricks, or you get off the train and you walk in and you're just like, oh no, I'm in Hogsmeade. Or
you go into Ollivanders and you're there in the wand room, and you're like,
and you see the wands.
this is cool.
Yeah. Or you're going on to the bank. You're going through the bank
Escape from Gringotts.
Gringotts, yeah.
Yep.
And you're looking at all these, the animatronics and just the way they play with you and play with your senses, and the pictures on the wall move and everything else. Like everything there is Harry Potter. And I am a fraction of a fan of Harry Potter compared to what I am of Star Wars. So I know I'm going to have a blast no matter what. So is it expensive? Yep. Is it going to be absolutely worth it to me once I go?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Totally.
And if my son, or I mean, if we get blessed with another child on top of him, like hopefully they're old enough to remember it and enjoy it as much as I do, because I'm going to be basically a 10-year-old. So
they're going to look at you and be like, why does Daddy have that goofy look on his face?
If my kid can talk at the time, they'll probably be like, Dad, why are you crying?
Mommy, is there something wrong with Daddy? No, he
just found true love.
He's just broken.
Yeah. No, he's just never seen anything so wonderful in his whole life. Just ignore him.
Right.
Let's go over here. Let's get a toy.
Yeah. If they decided to make I saw something on Twitter the other day about like Lucas Land. It's like, if they had this, if this was a thing, would you trade Galaxy's Edge for like Lucas Land, right? And it would be like Endor and Tatooine and Coruscant. Like every world would be a planet, basically.
Yeah, the answer is yes.
See, I don't think so.
I'll take Lucas Land.
Because I feel like if you could guarantee that you had the same buy-in as what's in Galaxy's Edge throughout the entire Lucas Land park, then yeah, totally.
Well, that's what I mean.
But if you
you think it's going to cheap it?
If you half-ass it and
it turns into Six Flags.
Yes, that is what I think would happen. Is you get DC World and you just have Batman stuff or Joker stuff plastered on the rides. You have no immersion, right? So if they cheaped out, then no, I don't want that. But if you're going to go in and you're going to just throw money at it, then yes, sign me up for that. But
fair enough. If I don't see at least 10 Ewoks walking around in Endor, I'm going to be really peeved.
Yeah, for sure. And if
it better be a Death Star somewhere.
Well, it would be at the center. It would be like the sphere of
Epcot. It'd be like Epcot, just big Death Star.
It'd be a big Death Star.
Actually, that'd be pretty sweet.
That would be pretty awesome.
All right, Lucasland, you heard it. Let's go.
Yes. All right. Let's start crowdfunding it. I mean, George has some money laying around
Disney,
somewhere.
just buy some land in Texas and just do it. I mean, you've got both coasts. You need Texas. I mean, really, that's what it comes down to.
I mean, I would take it in Kansas City so I didn't have to drive as far.
Well, yeah, but, land gets expensive. Maybe just do it in the middle.
Do it in Kansas, because nothing's in Kansas. You lived there.
Yeah, it was not great.
There's nothing there.
Sorry for all you Kansans, but
It's flat too.
there's
You
not-
wouldn't have to worry about grades or anything like that.
no, most of it, yeah. I've traveled that I-70 stretch a lot.
So construction would be relatively cheap.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Well, okay. Well, we're the first investors.
Let's form a shell company and buy land in Kansas.
Okay, so crowdfunding. We're gonna need $2 a day.
Yeah.
instead of the one.
Instead of the requisite one.
Because the first dollar will be for our Disney trip. The second one will be for Lucasland.
Right. Exactly.
It'll really work out in our favor, considering that none of it's trademarked yet. Shoot.
All right. Let's see. Let's hop on the trademark
Yep.
website.
It's Lucasland.
I'm going to pay my $50 registration fee.
And we just need a little bit of the Star Wars properties. Anyway, well, is that all we got tonight?
I think so. I think that wraps it. We'll save comics and stuff for next week.
Yeah, we really can't wait. I mean, we're going to cover the finale, maybe a couple comics news next week, because we did get some new stuff that we would love to talk about. And then we're going to jump right into our literature talk,
stuff.
because we got High Republic, comics and books, and then Bounty Hunters. We're going to have, probably the third issue will be out by the time we get to it.
Yeah, probably.
So that'll be really exciting. We can talk about all that. And we look forward to all of it, because guess what? It's all our favorite galaxy far, far away. So we're going to have a blast. And until next time,
may the Force be with you.